Morning. Afternoon. We have time to breathe for a second and just reflect on this moment because, like weddings and other big deals, you have to savor it. So look at those people over there. You're responsible for that. You've got to get used to applauding. We're going to do a fair amount in the next half hour or so. I'm so excited to welcome you to this ceremony, and I'm especially excited to see the teachers behind me, the students, the parents, this whole group of people. Dr. Anita Thomas, our president, our 11th president at the college, is going to be giving us a quick address of welcome, and then we'll proceed. So, Dr. Thomas. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, that was a little slow. So I don't know if it was me or all y'all or all of us collectively together. So let's do it again. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am pleased as Anita Thomas to be the 11th president here at North Central College. And I'm honored to welcome you as we gather together to recognize the accomplishments of our graduates. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, are you guys excited? As college scholars in the class of 2024, you have contributed so much to the North Central College community through your involvement, leadership, profound curiosity, and dedication to learning. You should feel proud of all of your accomplishments and the degree you will be receiving, especially after challenging yourself with a high level of rigor and engagement. I'm sure you're excited and filled with anticipation about your future. Trust yourself on that new journey. You did not arrive at North Central with everything figured out. You stayed bold and brave and open to new experiences, new people, and new places. So believe in yourself again as you step out into the world, and let North Central always be a lighthouse that guides you. Welcome again, everyone.
Now we start. Good afternoon, and welcome to our annual College Scholars Courting Ceremony. I'm so happy you've joined us today for this culminating event of the honors program. The class of 2024 is the 40th graduating class of college scholars at North Central, which means it's the Ruby anniversary. Those of you who are married may know what that refers to, the Ruby anniversary, which is the gemstone of love and passion. I can hear the graduation gifts lining up. I can't think of a better word, love and passion, words, to describe these scholars' commitment to scholarship. Each courting ceremony is special for graduates and their families, but this year is particularly so for the class of 2024. Most of you started college in the midst of that global pandemic we've heard about, a time of isolation and uncertainty. But these scholars flourished despite online high school graduations, some of them, online classes, online birthdays, and online shopping. Okay, so it wasn't all that bad, right? Sorry, a little side there. Many wondered how to build community with family and friends so far away. And then you built that community. You did. In the years since, outstanding transfer students joined the program and all worked out study abroad plans, data collection strategies, demanding classes, and interesting thesis challenges. While the College Scholars motto is excellence through community, the pandemic and its aftermath made doing community a little complicated. With the love of learning that defines these scholars, they kept at it. Reaching this day is a testament to their motivation and good humor. Long hours of research, writing, revision, lost my place, along with handling tough criticism, made this moment possible. They also made time for friends, connections I hope will last across your lifetimes. What makes the honors program at North Central so special is that each student's journey reflects their scholarly and personal story. The College Scholars Class of 2024 represents academic departments and programs across the college. Graduates, your thesis projects reflect that diversity. You explored issues of justice and equity, focusing on politics and the odds of a woman president in the near future, the effects of COVID on learning, the need to protect our environment. You researched mental health and well-being, made discoveries in science, and completed memorable creative projects. You traveled the world to study away. You didn't want to come home, some of you, and brought your unique perspectives back to North Central in your honors seminars and capstones. Just last month, you presented projects publicly at the Rawls Symposium, demonstrating your growth as critical thinkers. And today, you share in the tradition of golden chords. Now, it's time to show some gratitude for those who helped make this day possible. A significant part of what makes each college scholar's experience so unique is the outstanding guidance, encouragement, and commitment of time given by the faculty thesis directors seated behind me. May I ask you to rise as you're able? Graduates, I invite you to give a round of applause for your thesis advisors for their investment in your work throughout the process. We also wish to recognize those who served as second readers and the librarians whose feedback made these projects better. Please stand as you're able. Second readers. Fun. Okay, now a word of appreciation to 4 persons whose leadership made this program possible. Former College Scholars Director, Associate Provost, and Dean of Engaged Learning, Dr. Kristen Garrity. She may be hiding, but Academic Affairs Project Manager and the amazing person who keeps everything running, Amy Smith. Our wonderful co-director of College Scholars, who will serve as director next year, Dr. Susie Lafferty. And the program's talented graduate assistant, Brittany Benson. Now, there's one last very important thank you for some individuals especially deserving of our gratitude. Would all of our college scholars' families, friends, loved ones, please stand as you're able and be recognized for all you've done to bring your graduate to this moment. Your love and support has been... Really? Okay. Class of 2024 scholars, we can't wait to learn where life takes you. Know that you can always come home to the honors program and North Central College and share in the Cardinal community. You are beloved. Now it's time to actually begin the courting ceremony by inviting each thesis director to present their students with their Gold College Scholars graduation cord and to share words of recognition. We will begin with Dr. Ruthick.
Ian Lapat has taken advantage of the college experience probably better than any student I have ever known. In short, he majored in both environmental studies and biology. He went on 3 travel abroad experiences, once to the rainforests of Ecuador with me to study tropical ecology, once to the highlands of Guatemala, also with me, to measure the amount of carbon stored in the shade trees on coffee plantations. And finally, he spent a semester in Melbourne, Australia at La Trobe University, where he neglected to take me with him. It was at La Trobe where Ian conducted his honors thesis supported by a Richter grant that he wrote. He tested a new method for measuring stress hormones in amphibians in a manner that will make it easier on researchers as well as the animals that they study. Ian's thesis and his impact on North Central College were truly impressive, and we're all very proud of him. Congratulations, Ian.
I am not Dr. Amy Bucksbaum. Unfortunately, she could not be here today, but Paulina, she asked me to speak, and she wrote this, so I just get to read what she said. So, Paulina, congratulations on your graduation from North Central with honors as a college scholar. It has been a true delight to see you shine inside the classroom and outside, including your service as president of the Student Governing Association, as the student voice on the Presidential Search Committee, your thesis exploring communication dimensions of women in leadership is a fitting reflection on the remarkable person you are and the remarkable leader you are becoming. Your curiosity, intelligence, motivation, perseverance, and kindness have enhanced my, as Dr. Bucksbaum, classes, and I'm certain these qualities will take you far in life. Thank you for including me on your academic journey. I know you will make your mark at Spalding Ridge, and I can't wait to see what's next. I also have a few words from Dr. Carly Drake, who could not be here, who is your second reader. You are a gifted marketer and business professional. You bring curiosity, earnestness, and drive to your work that inspires me and asks me to think in new ways. Teaching you was a joy, and I can't wait to see how you use your talents to make the world a better place. Go. Oh, no, now I'm me. Faith. From that very first day in statistics 3 years ago, God, do you remember that? You were so young. You have consistently impressed me with your ability, your dedication, and your positive attitude. God, you make my job so much fun. Your thesis was the most methodologically sophisticated project I have worked on here in my 37 years at North Central College. You learned to administer, score, and interpret two very different measures of executive function. You designed and built an escape room in the basement of Went Science Center with 5 unique cognitive puzzle tasks. That was incredible. This is solid graduate level work. I'm excited to present this research with you in just a couple of weeks as we get ready to travel to San Francisco to present it at a national conference. It has been a joy and pleasure working with you and getting to know you as a person and all of the amazing things that you do. Your p-value in making the world a better place is less than 0.0001, which means you are significant, you're important, and you're worth paying attention to. Congratulations.
So Julia, as an athlete, wanted to know the impact of omega-3 fatty acids on athletes' mental health. And when she came to me with this idea, I thought it was a pretty ambitious, project, particularly because Julia is not a nutrition major, nor is she even a science major. But she has curiosity, which is the heart of a researcher. So Julia threw herself into the world of omega-3 fatty acids. She adapted to roadblocks along the way with this project, and there were a few. She asked the right questions at the right time. She took feedback brilliantly, and she used all of her critical thinking skills to really produce a great study. So I know that I'm impressed because someone who had very little background on this really looked at it and took everything she learned here at North Central, and she produced an amazing study. Julia said to me the other day, I don't want to have to think about omega-3 fatty acids for a long time, and I get that. And I know that she will take all of these skills and she will put it towards another project and be incredibly successful in life. Congratulations.
Okay, so Tyler, I had the pleasure of meeting him in the fall of 2022 when he was in my sports facilities class and sat right in the front row and was an excellent student. It was later that spring, so spring 23, that he asked if I would be his thesis director and for his project that he would be completing on athlete mental health. I immediately said yes because Tyler is an all-around incredible young man, and he had such a passion for the topic. Sorry, I get a little choked up because you were very passionate about it. He explained to me that as a student athlete, fellow student athletes had been impacted by mental health struggles, and he wanted to help them and bring light to the resources and support available at North Central. And that was super admirable, so thank you. In his data collection, he received over 200 responses, which is super high even for a seasoned researcher, so that was super impressive and really proud that he was able to get that done. When he gave his presentation 2 weeks ago, members of the athletic administration attended, and I asked him about that and how did they find out about his presentation? And he said, I emailed them and asked them to come because he thought his research was that important in light of a lot of the mental health struggles that athletes have now. But that's the type of impact he will continue to have wherever he goes. Standing up for what he cares about. He has a huge heart, and I feel very lucky to have worked with him. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, Shelby. So I did not work with Shelby and Tyler simultaneously. Shelby is a rock star and completed her honors thesis as a junior because she's an education major and was doing her in-service whole slew of teaching last semester and this semester, and she knew she was going to be way too dedicated to teaching to be able to focus on her thesis her senior year. So she just completed her in-service hours, which is very exciting, and she's on the job hunt now for being a teacher, and at the elementary level, and you're going to be amazing. Any classroom that's going to have you is going to be absolutely so lucky. Shelby is a diligent, caring, and compassionate person. And she had a really big passion for kids, but also she's a student athlete, and she had a really big idea that being a student athlete or being an athlete, even at the young age, you can have a big impact on your self-esteem if you're doing a team sport, if you're doing an individual sport. And she wanted to figure out if doing a team sport would be better for being an individual, or excuse me, doing a team sport would be better for self-esteem versus doing an individual sport. So we went around and we visited many practices of varying levels. It was a lot of fun. We watched some wrestling practices. We went to basketball practices around the Naperville kind of area. And we spent many hours in my office going over the data and talking about what her paper would be. She really persevered through data collection, which turned out to be very challenging at times, and her paper turned out to be outstanding. She is such a great researcher, and I loved that she loved learning and loved researching, and we had to cut it sometimes because we just went down a lot of rabbit holes of like just loving to research. If you ever want to be a researcher, you'd be excellent at it. I had so much fun working with her, and we've been able to stay connected through her senior year, which I feel very privileged to be a part of that. And she's so passionate about teaching, and I know you're going to be amazing wherever you go. So thank you for letting me be a part of that.
Angela, when we first met in an honors classroom, I was immediately impressed by your drive, your intelligence, and your passion. You were already committed to so many intellectual projects, and you were already set on the path to the Doctor of Physical Therapy program, ambitiously with an early undergrad graduation. And even though this project wasn't your core interest in continuing your career path, you committed to seeing it through, shaping and reshaping the project and evaluating your research input towards your central question regarding COVID-era care of physical therapy patients. You persevered through losing an advisor from the discipline at a very inopportune time in the process when they relocated from the area, and then quickly picking up with a far less knowledgeable instructor on the discipline itself. But I learned so much from you, Angela. You completed what you set out to do. You did it. I'm proud at your tenacity, striving through to reach your goal. I admire your curiosity, your enthusiasm, your dedication, and your intellect. And you're moving through frustration and challenges, even on a sometimes stressful, expedited timeline in working through your full journey as a college honor scholar. I hope you feel the full weight of this accomplishment, and I so look forward to seeing your future successes and achievements as part of the DPT program and beyond. Congratulations, Angela.
Determined, hardworking, extraordinarily bright. These are just some of the words to describe Natalie. It has been such a joy working with you over the past 4 years. Natalie's thesis was a very personal project for her. As a dancer, she became interested in the variables that might influence a dancer's decision to continue or quit dance. For her thesis, she decided to explore this question through the lens of self-determination theory, a theory that says that someone who feels in control of their behavior, feels competent in their abilities, and feels connected to their teammates will be most likely to persist in their sport. So to answer this question, Natalie recruited a sample of competitive dancers from around the country who completed a series of online surveys. She initially reached out to several private dance studios in the area, but we ran into some recruitment challenges, so she ultimately ended up reaching out to 85, yes, 85 universities that have dance teams, and she met her recruitment goal. So that is very, very persistent, and I'm very, very proud of you. And she did that on her own. I didn't ask her to do 85. Just want to make it clear. That was self-guided. Her final research paper was beautifully written, and she did a wonderful job presenting her work at the Rawl Symposium a couple of weeks ago. I've also had the opportunity to work with Natalie inside the classroom, and she is consistently the most engaged student in the room. I could always count on her to reignite the discussion with a really thoughtful comment. She's willing to take intellectual risks, and that's going to take you very, very far. After graduation, Natalie plans on a career as a professional dancer, and I can't wait to see you on stage doing what you love. I wish you all the best as you start your next chapter. Congratulations.
It is my honor to present this honors cord to Elena, who's graduating with a major in elementary education. In addition to being part of the honors program, Elena has been an active member and leader in Focus, Educators Rising, the Student Government Association. She's served as a student ambassador in the Office of Admissions and has been a member of Project Lead. Elena completed her honors thesis called Studying the Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Reading Comprehension Teaching Strategies at the Elementary Level. She observed and interviewed primary teachers to understand the impacts of COVID-19 on student reading needs and reading comprehension instructional strategies. Through her research, she highlights how important it is for teachers to adapt to the new needs of their students in literacy, recognizing the effects of the pandemic. And now she's able to apply those particularly impactful practices in her own reading instruction. Elena, I feel fortunate to have been able to work with you last year on your thesis and having the pleasure of your company in courses this year. I'm impressed by your work ethic, by your compassion, by your leadership, and how you use your voice to bring people together and to advocate for change. I'm so excited for your future students who will have the opportunity to learn with and from you. They are lucky. Congratulations on all you have accomplished, and I wish you only the best in everything that's to come.
I met Lizzie in fall of 2021. We were still wearing masks. And she was an ambitious sophomore who really wanted to get started on her honors thesis. We started talking about film, maybe a Miyazaki project, maybe a project about horror film, but it soon became clear that Lizzie wanted to do a creative project, and she started writing short stories. The short stories were in the horror genre, and as she began to bring them to my office and we looked at them together, we realized that they were really focusing on sex-based harassment and sexual assault and the way that they haunt through anxiety and depression, flashbacks, and other traumatic experiences that can come in the wake of those experiences. She worked on this project for several months, produced almost a complete set of short stories, and decided, what did you decide? No, I'm done. This isn't working for me. This isn't producing what I need. This isn't telling the story the way I need to tell it. So she set that project aside. Luckily, this coincided with a study abroad semester. Went off, sat quietly with this difficult, challenging information and project, came back, and was energized to start over. So abandoned short stories, started writing poems, beautiful poems, many of them still focused on the traumatic effects of sexual assault, but she expanded it to speak for her generation and started to talk about the pandemic as something that still haunts. It's still back there, affecting this generation in ways that we don't exactly know yet. She started writing about climate change and the way that's hovering out there over some folks' sense of what their futures can hold. It's a beautiful chapbook, and I really hope she continues to work on it. I want to honor Lizzie for her tenacity. She wrote essentially 2 theses, and for sitting with this difficult material and writing such beautiful work, and for allowing me to be a passenger in the car for a little bit on your journey. So, congratulations.
Kelsey Morrison is on a couple of posters for the First Gen program here around campus. And I'm here today to make the case that Kelsey should be on many more posters as the poster child for North Central College experience more broadly. There are some very important people here today, so I thought I'd make my pitch. You come here, you listen, you reflect, you work, you jump in, and you grow. You came here with an innate ability and immense potential, but you've really grown into an outstanding student, a leader in the classroom, in the lab, in the campus community. You've deftly navigated challenges and taken opportunities that you've been presented with and fully embraced each one of them. The results have been nothing short of spectacular. To watch you grow as a scientist and as a person over the last few years has been one of the highlights of this period of time for me. Your story in so many ways represents what we want every student here to get out of this experience. You should be on a poster for that. Your project testing the amnestic properties of subanesthetic ketamine was carefully constructed, diligently carried out, and thoughtfully analyzed. Importantly, you'll always have a very special distinction in the lab. You will be the lab's #1 best and first rat swim instructor. She trained some rats to swim in a maze, if you don't. You found something important and interesting And this will become a central piece of future publications and advances the science and our understanding of treating addiction. Your willingness to work and direct others, the grace with which you receive feedback, and your tenacity to improve was impressive. Don't lose that. I'm going to miss our conversations and the steady and calming influence that you've had in the lab the past few years. You should be very proud of yourself, and on a poster. So as we close this chapter, Kelsey's looking forward to applying to PA schools in the fall. Thank you for what you've done, and it's students like you that make me hopeful for the future of the medical field. Thank you. It's autographed.
Hi, Julie. Like Carl Kelly said earlier, I'm not Dr. Jeff Jankowski. He unfortunately couldn't be here, but he talked to me and asked if I wanted to come up and say a few words about Julie. And of course I said, absolutely. So I'll read what Jeff wanted me to read, but first I wanted to say, Julie, from the first time I had you in class, which was the first real true pandemic class, so I saw you from about here up, I knew that you were going to be someone special in our department. As a chem major, your work ethic and your happiness and really your just desire to do your best have really been an inspiration to us all. And so when you became a senior and wanted to take some of your two favorite sort of interests, purple and coffee, important stuff, she was able to incorporate that into her research. And so with that, she was analyzing caffeine in coffee for Dr. Jeff Jankowski. And so this is what Dr. Jankowski said. Julie's research project was an investigation into the use of Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, measuring stuff, as a rapid method to determine caffeine content. Previous studies used this to quantitate caffeine in coffee. However, the instrument we have here at North Central isn't quite as sophisticated as the instrument that a lot of these very specified labs used. Julie wondered, hey, could we make this work with our stuff? And so while we knew the positive outcome was a long shot, Julie was undaunted as she set out to prove to herself whether or not the instrument we wanted to use would be successful or not. While we did not obtain the sensitivity in detecting caffeine that had been hoped for, Julie's research gave us new ideas to try that what we would otherwise not have thought about, and research will continue in this field. What made this project truly successful was Julie's consistently positive attitude, her creativity to think through different ways of approaching a problem, and her courage to try something new, innovative, and different. It was a pleasure to working with her. And on behalf of the chemistry department, Julie, we are incredibly proud of you, and we know that you are destined for great things. Congratulations, Julie.
How are you today? Good. Good to see you. Nate, it is my pleasure to present you with this honors cord to celebrate the successful completion of your thesis entitled Exploring Trends Between Museums and Theme Parks. This insightful study examined the experiences in an exhibition at Disney's Epcot theme park and design and programming principles described by museum professionals. This was a daring approach, as these two very related sectors often don't see themselves as the same. They think they're quite unique, and especially as they're navigating this world of edutainment, right? I first learned about your passion for all things Disney and Epcot when you wrote a paper in your first year card class. And at that time, I was really impressed by the amount of knowledge you had about Disney. And it's really been a delight to see how you've flourished as a scholar. using all of your work in history and archival practices to add to this body of work. And now with the integration of museum studies, the work went even further. Throughout the process, you have maintained a sense of vision while always being open to feedback. You came to each meeting well prepared and excited about new discoveries. I learned a lot about Epcot. And I'm grateful that we were able to put these practices together, in practice, as we also did a front-end exhibit evaluation for a local museum this semester. What are you going to do to celebrate? I'm sure there's a Disney trip. We couldn't resist. I wish you all the best. I want to go to Disney too. Hey, Grace, good to see you. Grace, it gives me great pleasure to give you this honors cord in recognition of your successful completion of the thesis entitled A Look into the Accessibility of Special Education for Students in Rural Schools. Did I say it right? Yes. Oh, good. Your study explored the structures of special education and the challenges that rural schools face while trying to provide these services. You approached this topic with curiosity and passion, and through your interviews with school leaders, you learned about the obstacles that these rural schools face with staffing, community support, funding, and you also learned about the creative solutions that they're applying to serve their students. Grace, we had a grand time in Ireland last May. I saw the way you cared for your peers and the way you always showed up and wanted to embrace new experiences. I'll tell you, I was really grateful to have an educator with me that was really good at counting heads of all 25 people that were traveling with us. Super helpful. You brought the same energy to your work in your thesis. Your topic is about care for others. Your energy allowed you to complete an impressive amount of work and writing to complete the thesis and present your work at the Rawl Symposium a few weeks ago. As everyone here can attest, writing a thesis is hard, yeah? Writing a thesis while you're also doing student teaching, very hard, and you did it. Bravo. But that's what excellent teachers do. They serve their students in the classroom every day, and they continue to interrogate the systems to make them better. And I know you're going to be a great teacher. Thank you.
How's it going? All right. So I've had Teresa in a couple of classes. We've also gone through some Chicago area programming competitions. Her team took second place early this year. So I was quite delighted when she asked me to be her thesis director. Her work in my classes has been stellar, the programming competitions as well, so I had no doubt that her work on this project will be stellar as well. And Teresa's a true go-getter. So when she came to my office, she already had a plan in mind. I was like, all right, let's get a topic. All right, I got that. I want to look at opioid fatalities and correctional funding. I was like, all right, not my field, but we'll work with it. So I was like, next thing we need is data. Got that as well. So what am I going to do? So I was like, regression analysis, and all right, I'll go get that. So, and that was like our dynamic going through this thesis. Even at the end, before presenting at the Rawl Symposium, I said, go have fun with it, and she did that. So I have no doubt about your future endeavors. I'd like to take some credit for this, but it's truly been all her work. So if I were to leave here with any parting words, it's do whatever your heart desires, because one, it's going to be great. Two, you already got it. Thanks.
Tessa. Tessa, it's been an absolute delight to have you as my student and advisee. Watching Tessa bring together her work in biochemistry and ethics in her honors thesis, The Cost of Control, the Implications of Overturning Roe v. Wade, has been truly remarkable. And this whole week, I keep running through my head Tessa's accomplishments, biochem, philosophy, the issues of the day. Tessa picks the hardest path possible, and she does it with flying colors. You are truly one of the hardest working, focused, and tenacious students to come through the philosophy program. We are so excited to watch what you do at the University of Iowa Law next year. Congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. You coming, Madam President? Okay. She's very Jackie. You hit the goal. You hit your goal today. You're welcome. Okay. Well, Tabitha might tell you that the journey to her thesis began in our Political Science 312 class, Women in American Politics, about 2.5 years ago. She'll tell you about her feminist awakening, the inspiration she drew from her colleagues, and her sparked passion for exploring and bettering the experiences of all women in the United States. I think she's lying, though, because Tabitha's journey to this thesis has been a lifelong one. In her 60-page thesis, 60, Dr. Azerbat, 60-page thesis, Tabitha marries her English and political science training to craft a creative, nonfiction piece imagining who the first female president of the United States will be. Taking into account all kinds of political science concepts, and I'm going to name them just for you: calcification, party parity, the nature of primary and general election campaigns, and most importantly, the race and gender nature of the American political system. Tabitha gives us our first female president, a white, state school educated, Christian, 50-ish-year-old, married mother of grown children with elected office experience who will be a Republican. I know, that's not where she started either. Tabitha meticulously describes the women's metaspace while also examining her own. This thesis started as a love letter to this woman that she was carefully crafting. But in the end, Tabitha was really writing a love letter to herself. If I could, because her words are so much better than my own, here are her words from her thesis that so perfectly encapsulate these two incredible women's parallel journeys on the tightrope that is the metaspace. You are sure what you have signed up for. It's what you've always wanted. But you can't help feel a little scared of going down this yet unknown path. You've seen countless women by now attempt to do the very thing you are, and it hasn't ended well for them. But you smile because you're still grateful, right? The journey you're about to go on might look similar to what you had previously done when running for elections. Campaigning and running for office at this point should come naturally to you. But this was different. You aren't looking for constituents you seek from your state. Now the entire country is yours to seek. I can do this, I looked around the room. Some of these people had been with me since the beginning. They believed in me, which meant others would too, right? We can win. I couldn't help but think about the change and the tension happening in the room. We know we can, but we need to discuss your wardrobe. We were thinking you should wear more red, maybe lose the pearls. Our data show they tend to age you, and red will know more loyalty. Along the way, policy and your ideas sometimes will be overshadowed by what you look like. As you listen to the suggestions of how to do your makeup, what heel length is appropriate, or why you should steer clear of pantsuits. You pull out a photograph of your kids when they were little. You smile and think of the ambition you'd been quieting for years. You hold onto that image because it will ground you when people say you can't do it. It will ground you when you lose track of what or why you are doing what you're doing. Congratulations, you just threw your hat in the ring. And so did you. Congratulations.
Okay. As a thesis director, you're not supposed to have favorites. You're like a parent that way. You're supposed to love all the thesis projects you work on over the years equally, so none of them feel slighted. But the reality is, sometimes you do have favorites. Sometimes you work with a student where everything falls into place, where they develop a project that isn't purely theoretical, but weighs in on a pressing and contemporary issue. In Reese's case, climate change, and the efforts to develop sustainable state-level plans to meet the goals of the Paris Climate Accord. And not only did Reese find an important topic, but she came up with a really creative way of exploring that topic. I'm a big fan of students developing their own data sets or database. It's a great experience. You get to work with some data, you do some independent analysis, but it never actually works out. The data is always messy and complex, and it's hard to find any patterns, and in some ways that's kind of the point. It's a lesson in just how hard research is, this endeavor that all of us care so deeply and are committed to. Well, it's hard and complicated for most of us, but not for Reese. Reese developed this wonderful little database looking at the plans that different states put together to try to meet their climate pledges. Okay, then we started the data analysis part, the independent, dependent variable part. And it's often the case we didn't find any pattern. We thought we might explain things a certain way, and the thing just didn't happen that way. This is where a lot of projects settle, a null hypothesis, where we explain that we anticipated or hypothesized something would happen, but that thing didn't happen. And that's okay, that's a meaningful finding. Well, it's a meaningful finding for some, but not for Reese. She said, let's try some other variables. So we did. And those variables led to some absolutely fascinating findings. Results that had me wandering around the political science department with spreadsheets showing people, saying, you gotta look at this data, you gotta look at these results. This is really, really interesting work here. This didn't happen because Reese was lucky. It happened because you put in the work. Because Reese really wanted to know the answer, to think through how we as a global community can adapt to meet the enormous challenge posed by climate change. It happened because Reese was curious, and she turned that curiosity into an absolutely wonderful thesis. I felt lucky to be part of that process and have the opportunity to watch your intellectual growth and development. Congratulations.
Last but not least, Juan Martinez graduated in December, and we're very fortunate that he's back here with us today. I'll be reading the part of Dr. Julie Nagashima, his thesis director. But first I want to say, when we think of leadership, ethics, and values in our program, we often are talking about JJ. He exhibits all those wonderful qualities. This year he won the LEV Student Award. 2022, he won the Changemaker Award. So just his giving and his investment in reaching people and connecting people. So I feel very honored to stand next to you here today. Also, I want to say thank you for sharing all of your research. He would come into the house and discuss it, which I think is really important. He's able to translate that into practice. So I love those conversations. Okay, Dr. Nagashima shared that as his first step to make change and dismantle systems of inequity and injustice, and applying his degrees in psychology and ethical leadership, he returned to North Central as an alumni. Already he came back, right? That's so wonderful. And on MLK Teach-In to share his personal experiences and barriers that exist for many underserved communities. He leveraged this day to create a platform to share a powerful message. He encouraged his faculty, staff, and fellow peers to reflect and consider the missed opportunities of the ways we can personally make a difference in others' lives. He actually lives this. I've seen it firsthand, and so I feel very honored to cord you and thank you for all that your work that you've done and that you come back.
What a beautiful day. Congratulations. Before I turn things over to our provost, a quick announcement for students. After the ceremony, we're asking that you exit the theater first and head directly upstairs because we have this toasting thing and you get to look down on us and it's really amazing. So we'll ask that you leave first when the provost has finished his remarks. And we have a champagne toast. Okay, I'd like to thank the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Goke Pariola, for his outstanding support of the College Scholar Program and ask him to offer our closing remarks. Let's give a round of applause to the Provost.
Thank you, Jennifer. College scholars, as I noted at this year's honors convocation, you have indeed set a very high bar for academic excellence, and you have contributed significantly to our entire campus community. As we've heard today from the President, Dr. Thomas, and from your many mentors here, you've studied abroad, you presented at academic conferences, and some of you will be presenting again very soon, and you have participated in our research program. Many of you have performed on North Central stages, while others have excelled on athletic fields. You served as resident assistants, orientation staff leaders, first-year mentors, and on executive boards of student organizations. You have indeed had a very strong presence on this campus. Thank you. I encourage you to remain connected with us on your life's journey. Enjoy every moment of this celebratory weekend, and remember to express gratitude to your family members, your friends, and mentors who have supported, inspired, and challenged you along the way on this milestone. It truly has been a privilege to have you here. Thank you for being outstanding Cardinals, and congratulations.
Yeah.